Imagine a quiet roadside diner on a scorching summer afternoon, the kind where the air shimmers above the asphalt, and the only sounds are the distant hum of trucks on the highway and the occasional roar of motorcycles pulling in for a break. It was one of those days where everything seemed ordinary, until a little girl burst out of the diner doors, her small feet pounding the gravel as she ran straight toward a group of tough-looking bikers. Her name was Emily, just 8 years old, with messy brown pigtails bouncing wildly and tears streaming down her freckled cheeks. She was wearing a faded pink dress that had seen better days, and her sneakers were untied, flapping with every frantic step. "He's coming, he's coming!" she screamed at the top of her lungs, her voice cracking with pure terror. The words echoed across the parking lot, cutting through the idle chatter like a knife. The bikers, 5 of them, all part of a club called the Iron Riders, were lounging against their massive Harley-Davidsons. They were the kind of men who turned heads wherever they went. Leather vests covered in patches, tattooed arms glistening with sweat, long beards and bandanas tied around their heads. To most people, they looked intimidating, the stereotype of rough outlaws from old movies. But these guys were just regular folks who loved the open road, veterans, mechanics, family men, who bonded over their bikes and weekend rides. The leader, a big guy named Jack with a salt and pepper beard and arms like tree trunks, was sipping a cold soda when he heard the cry. He lowered his bottle slowly, his brow furrowing. "What the hell?" he muttered to his buddies. The others, Mike, a former Marine with a scarred knuckle, Sarah, the only woman in the group, tough as nails with a sleeve of tattoos, Tom, the quiet one who always carried a toolkit, and Dave, the joker with a loud laugh, turned their heads in unison. Emily didn't stop until she reached them, collapsing against Jack's leg, clutching his jeans with tiny, trembling hands. She was gasping for air, her chest heaving, eyes wide with fear. "Please, help! He's coming! He's gonna hurt her!" she sobbed, pointing back toward the diner with a shaky finger. Jack knelt down immediately, his massive frame surprisingly gentle as he placed a hand on her shoulder. "Hey, kiddo, slow down. Who's coming? What's going on?" His voice was deep but calm, like a rumble of thunder far away, reassuring, not scary. The other bikers gathered around, forming a protective circle without even thinking about it. Sarah crouched too, her maternal instincts kicking in. "Sweetie, take a deep breath. You're safe here with us. Tell us what happened." Emily wiped her nose on her sleeve, looking up at these strangers who, to her, looked like giants from a fairy tale, the kind that could fight dragons. She had seen them from inside the diner, parked right outside the window where she sat with her mum. Her mum, Lisa, a single mother working double shifts as a waitress, had brought Emily to work that day because childcare fell through. They were struggling, bills piling up, an ex-husband who was more trouble than help. Inside the diner, things had gone from bad to worse. Lisa's ex, a man named Rick, had shown up unannounced. He was supposed to be out of their lives for good after the restraining order, but there he was, drunk and angry, banging on the table. "You're not keeping my daughter from me," he'd yelled earlier. The other customers shifted uncomfortably, but no one intervened. The diner owner was in the back, and the few staff were too scared. Emily had been coloring in a booth when she overheard her mum on the phone in the break room, whispering about how Rick had been spotted in town. Then, suddenly through the window, Emily saw his beat-up truck pull into the lot. Panic hit her like a wave. Her mum was still inside, cleaning tables. Rick was coming for them, for her mum, to drag her back into that nightmare of shouting and worse. That's when Emily bolted. She didn't think about how scary the bikers looked. She just knew they were big and strong, and there were a lot of them. "My daddy, my old daddy, he's bad. He's coming to take my mum away, and he hurts her. Please, you have to stop him." The bikers exchanged glances. Jack's jaw tightened. He'd seen enough in his life, deployed overseas, lost friends, to recognize real fear when he saw it. This wasn't a kid making up stories. This was raw terror. Sarah's eyes softened. "How long ago did you see him?" "Just now, his truck, it's over there." Emily pointed to the edge of the lot, where a rusty pickup was indeed pulling in slowly, like a predator stalking prey. The group straightened up. Mike cracked his knuckles instinctively. "Looks like we got company," he said quietly. Jack nodded, standing tall. "All right, kid, you stay right here with Sarah. We'll handle this." Emily clung to Sarah's hand, as the men moved forward, their boots crunching on the gravel. The air felt thicker now, charged with tension. What would happen when Rick stepped out? Would he back down, or would things get ugly? And that's when the truck doors slammed open. After this intense moment of the bikers stepping up to protect a stranger's child, if you're feeling the inspiration already and want more stories like this on the road, hit that subscribe button to Road Motorcycle Diaries. We share real tales of courage, kindness, and the open road that restore your faith in humanity. The bikers formed a wall, their shadows long in the afternoon sun. Rick stumbled out, reeking of alcohol even from a distance, his eyes bloodshot and fixed on the diner door. He hadn't noticed the group yet, or the little girl hiding behind them, but as he started walking toward the entrance, yelling Lisa's name, the Iron Riders stepped into his path. Rick froze mid-step when he finally noticed the 5 bikers standing shoulder to shoulder between him and the diner door, their massive frames blocking the entire path like an unbreakable wall. The sun beat down mercilessly, turning the gravel lot into a furnace, but the air between the two sides felt ice cold. Rick was a big guy in his own right, 6 feet tall, broad from years of construction work, but compared to these men, he suddenly looked smaller. His faded flannel shirt was stained with sweat and beer, his jeans hung low and his face was twisted in drunken rage. He squinted, trying to process what he was seeing. "Who the hell are you clowns?" he snarled, his voice slurred but loud enough to carry. "Get out of my way, this ain't your business." Jack took one calm step forward, his boots crunching deliberately on the gravel. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. His presence alone commanded attention. "Actually," he said evenly, "it just became our business. There's a little girl over there who's terrified of you, and we don't like seeing kids scared." Behind the bikers, Sarah kept Emily close, one arm protectively around the child's shoulders. Emily's face was buried in Sarah's leather vest, but she peeked out just enough to watch. Her small hands gripped Sarah's belt loop so tightly, her knuckles were white. Rick's eyes darted past the group and landed on Emily. His expression shifted from anger to something uglier, possessive fury. "That's my daughter," he spat. "Emily, get over here right now. You're coming with me." Emily whimpered and pressed harder against Sarah, shaking her head violently. "No, Daddy, please, no." Sarah leaned down and whispered softly, "You're safe, honey. He's not touching you. I promise." Mike, the former Marine, shifted his weight slightly, his scarred hands flexing at his sides. Tom and Dave flanked Jack, forming a perfect line. None of them reached for weapons, there were none visible, but the message was clear. This wasn't going to be an easy walkthrough. Rick laughed bitterly, swaying a little. "You think you're heroes? Bunch of weekend warriors on shiny toys?" He gestured mockingly at the Harleys lined up behind them. "Move, or I'll move you." Jack tilted his head, studying Rick like he was sizing up a problem that needed solving. "Buddy," he said quietly, "you're drunk, you're angry, and you're scaring a child. Walk away now, sleep it off, and come back when you're sober and calm. We'll even let you talk to her mum with someone neutral present, but you're not going inside that diner like this." From inside the diner, through the large glass windows, Lisa had finally noticed the commotion. She stood frozen near the counter, a dish towel still in her hands, her face pale with dread. She could see Emily safe with the woman biker, and she could see her ex facing off against 4 large men who looked like they'd stepped out of an action movie. Her heart pounded so hard, she thought it might break a rib. One of the regular customers, an older trucker, quietly pulled out his phone and started recording from inside. Something told him this could go south fast. Rick took a stumbling step closer, jabbing a finger toward Jack's chest. "You don't know who you're messing with. I'll have you all arrested for kidnapping." Dave, the one with the sense of humor, actually chuckled low in his throat. "Kidnapping? Kid's the one who ran to us screaming for help. Pretty sure that doesn't qualify." The tension was electric now. A fly buzzed lazily near Rick's head. Even it seemed reluctant to land. Emily's quiet sobs were the only soft sound breaking the standoff. Rick's face turned redder. "Fine," he growled. "I'll just go around." He veered left, trying to circle the group toward the diner entrance. In perfect sync, the bikers shifted sideways, blocking him again without seeming to rush. It was like watching a well-trained unit, smooth, effortless, intimidating. Rick stopped again, breathing heavily. "You're gonna regret this." Jack's voice dropped even lower, almost gentle, but laced with steel. The only one regretting anything today is gonna be you if you take one more step toward that little girl or her mother. We don't want trouble, but we're not moving. For a long moment, nobody breathed. The highway traffic droned in the distance. A bead of sweat rolled down Rick's temple. His hands clenched and unclenched. Then, from the corner of the lot, the sound of a siren began to rise. Distant at first, but growing louder. Someone inside the diner must have called the police when Rick first showed up. Rick's head snapped toward the sound. His bravado cracked just a little. He looked back at the bikers, at Emily clinging to Sarah, at the diner window where Lisa stood watching with desperate hope. "You think this is over?" he muttered, backing up a step. "This ain't over." He turned unsteadily toward his truck, kicking gravel as he went. The bikers didn't relax. They watched every move, ready in case he changed his mind. Rick yanked open the driver's door, climbed in, and slammed it so hard the whole truck rocked. The engine roared to life with a belch of black smoke. Everyone held their breath as he threw it into reverse. Would he really leave, or was he about to do something reckless? The rusty pickup's engine coughed and snarled like an angry beast waking up, sending a cloud of exhaust fumes rolling across the parking lot as Rick slammed his foot on the gas in reverse. Gravel sprayed in every direction as the truck shot backward, tires screeching against the hot asphalt. For one heart-stopping second, everyone thought he was finally leaving. Tires spinning, dust flying, the vehicle lurching toward the exit. Emily squeezed Sarah's hand so hard it hurt, her little body trembling as she whispered, "Is he gone? Please say he's gone." But then the brake lights flared bright red. Rick yanked the wheel hard, throwing the truck into a violent spin. The back end fishtailed, kicking up more stones, and instead of heading for the highway, he pointed the nose straight back toward the diner, straight toward the group of bikers still standing protectively in front of the entrance. "Oh no," Sarah breathed, pulling Emily tighter against her. "He's not leaving. He's coming right at us." Jack's eyes narrowed. He didn't flinch, but his voice cut through the chaos like a blade. "Everyone, stay calm. Move to the side, slowly. We don't want to give him a target." The four men began to shift sideways in unison, guiding the group away from the direct path between the truck and the diner door. Sarah scooped Emily up into her arms. The little girl weighed almost nothing and backed toward the row of Harleys for cover. Inside the diner, Lisa dropped the dish towel and ran to the window, pressing both palms against the glass. "Emily!" she screamed, her voice muffled but full of raw panic. Other customers ducked behind booths, one woman pulling her child to the floor. The cook burst out from the kitchen, phone to his ear. "Yes, he's trying to run them over. Hurry!" Rick leaned out the driver's window, face purple with rage, screaming obscenities that echoed across the lot. "You think you can keep my family from me? I'll go through every last one of you." The truck surged forward, gaining speed faster than anyone expected on loose gravel. 40 feet, 30 feet, 20. Jack stepped forward one pace, planting himself directly in the center again, arms out to the sides to keep his friends back. "Stop the vehicle now!" he bellowed, voice booming like thunder. For a split second, it almost looked like Rick hesitated, Jack's sheer size and authority filling the windshield, but then he floored it again. Mike muttered under his breath, "This guy's lost it." Tom reached calmly into his saddlebag and pulled out a heavy chain, wrapping it once around his fist, not to attack, but ready to defend. Dave positioned himself in front of Sarah and Emily, shielding them behind the biggest Harley, 15 feet. The sirens were louder now, definitely coming this way, but still minutes out, 10 feet. Emily buried her face in Sarah's neck, sobbing, "I don't want Mommy to get hurt." And then, at the very last second, Rick swerved. The truck veered sharply to the right, missing Jack by less than 3 feet. The side mirror clipped Jack's leather vest, tearing a patch clean off, but he didn't even stumble. The vehicle barreled past them, heading straight for the diner's large front window, where Lisa stood frozen in terror. Time seemed to slow. Lisa's eyes locked on the oncoming truck, her mind flashing through every moment she'd spent trying to protect her daughter from this exact kind of violence. She couldn't move. The truck was going to crash right through the glass. But just as the bumper was about to make impact, Rick jerked the wheel again, whether out of some remaining shred of sanity or fear of the consequences, no one would ever know. The truck jumped the low curb, smashed through a row of empty newspaper boxes, and skidded sideways into the ditch beside the building with a sickening crunch of metal on dirt. Steam hissed from under the hood. The engine stalled. Silence fell, broken only by the distant wail of sirens and Emily's quiet crying. Rick kicked the door open and stumbled out, cursing, limping slightly from the impact. Blood trickled from a cut on his forehead where he'd hit the steering wheel. He looked around wildly as if surprised he was still alive, then fixed his glare back on the bikers. "You're all dead," he roared, starting to charge toward them on foot. Jack sighed, almost sadly. "All right," he said to his friends. "Time to end this before someone really gets hurt." The four men moved forward together, not running, just walking with purpose. Boots steady on the gravel, shadows long and unbreakable. Rick kept coming, fists raised, screaming threats. The sirens were very close now. You could see the flashing lights approaching down the highway. But would the police get there before Rick reached the group, or before the bikers were forced to stop him themselves? Rick charged across the gravel like a bull that had just seen red, blood dripping from his forehead, eyes wild and unfocused, fists swinging in wide, drunken arcs as he closed the distance between himself and the bikers. The sirens were screaming now. 2 police cruisers flying down the highway off-ramp, lights flashing blue and red against the diner's windows, but they were still 30 seconds away. 30 seconds too long. Jack raised one massive hand, palm out. "Last chance, man, stop right there." Rick didn't even slow down. He let out a guttural roar and lunged straight at Jack, swinging a haymaker aimed at the big biker's jaw. Jack moved faster than a man his size had any right to. He stepped inside the punch, caught Rick's wrist mid-swing, and used the man's own momentum to spin him around. In one smooth motion, he locked Rick's arm behind his back and drove him face first to the ground with controlled force. Gravel crunched under Rick's cheek as the air whooshed out of his lungs. Mike and Tom were there in an instant. Mike dropped a knee gently but firmly between Rick's shoulder blades to keep him pinned, while Tom quickly unwrapped the chain from his fist and used it to secure Rick's hands. Not tightly enough to hurt, but enough that he wasn't going anywhere. Dave stood guard, scanning the lot in case Rick had any friends hiding, while Sarah kept Emily turned away, covering the girl's eyes with her hand. "Don't look, sweetie. It's almost over." Emily's voice was small but steady. "Are the good guys winning?" Sarah smiled despite the adrenaline pumping through her veins. "Yeah, honey, the good guys are winning." Rick thrashed and cursed beneath them, spitting gravel and threats. "You're all going down for this. Assault. I'll sue every one of you." Jack knelt beside him, voice calm and almost kind. "You drove a truck at a group of people protecting a child. You're lucky we didn't let you hurt yourself worse. Cool off. The cops are here." The first cruiser skidded into the lot, tires smoking, doors flying open before it even stopped. 2 officers jumped out, hands on holsters, assessing the scene in seconds. "Police! Everyone freeze!" Jack slowly raised both hands, still keeping pressure on Rick's arm. "Officers, the situation is under control. This man tried to run us over and was attempting to assault us. The child and her mother inside have a restraining order against him." The second cruiser pulled up, and a female officer stepped out, immediately spotting Lisa rushing from the diner door. Lisa's legs nearly gave out when she saw Emily safe in Sarah's arms. "Mommy!" Emily wriggled free and sprinted across the lot. Lisa dropped to her knees, catching her daughter in a fierce embrace, both of them crying tears of relief. "Oh, baby, oh my God, you're okay." The officers quickly took custody of Rick, cuffing him properly and reading him his rights as he continued to shout. One officer began taking statements from the trucker, who had recorded everything on his phone. Clear evidence of the attempted assault with a vehicle. Jack and the others stepped back, giving the police space. Their hands were shaking now that the adrenaline was fading, but none of them showed it. Sarah walked over to Lisa and Emily, crouching down to their level. "Your little girl's the bravest kid I've ever met," she said softly. "She ran straight to us for help. Saved you both today." Lisa looked up, tears streaming down her face, and then at the group of bikers standing quietly by their bikes, covered in dust, one patch torn but standing tall. I don't even know your names. You didn't have to do this. You could have just walked away." Jack gave a small smile, the first real one of the day. Ma'am, when a kid runs to you screaming for help, you don't walk away. That's not who we are. The female officer approached the group, notebook in hand. I'm going to need full statements from all of you. And I have to say, off the record, you folks probably just saved lives today. As the officers worked the scene, securing Rick in the back of a cruiser, still yelling but powerless now, something beautiful began to happen. The diner customers started coming out one by one. The cook brought cold bottles of water for everyone. An older couple shook the bikers' hands. A young father with his own daughter on his hip thanked them with a voice thick with emotion. Emily tugged on her mom's sleeve. "Mommy, can I say thank you properly?" Lisa nodded, wiping her eyes. Emily walked right up to Jack, the biggest, scariest-looking one, and reached up with both arms. Without hesitation, Jack bent down and lifted her into a gentle hug. She wrapped her small arms around his thick neck and whispered, "You're my hero." Jack's eyes glistened for just a second before he set her down carefully. "Anytime, kiddo." But the day wasn't over yet. As the police finished up and the tow truck arrived for Rick's wrecked pickup, Lisa made a request that would change everything for the Iron Riders. She looked at the group, took a deep breath, and asked something no one expected. Lisa stood in the middle of the parking lot, holding Emily's hand tightly as the tow truck winched Rick's mangled pickup out of the ditch with loud, metallic groans that echoed like the end of a nightmare. The police cruisers were still there, lights flashing lazily now that the danger had passed. Officers were wrapping up photos of the scene, collecting the trucker's video as evidence, and coordinating with the diner owner about minor property damage. The late afternoon sun cast a golden glow over everything, turning the dust in the air into sparkling particles, like the world itself was taking a deep breath. Lisa looked at the 5 bikers who had just risked their lives for 2 strangers. Jack was wiping gravel dust off his vest, where the mirror had torn the patch. Sarah was retying Emily's messy pigtails with gentle fingers. Mike, Tom, and Dave stood by their Harleys, quietly checking for any scratches from flying debris. Lisa took a shaky step forward, her waitress apron still on, name tag crooked. "I don't even know how to begin thanking you," she said, voice cracking. "You didn't know us. You could have looked the other way. Most people would have." Jack shook his head. "No, ma'am. Not most people. Not when a child's involved." Emily tugged her mom's hand. "Mommy, they're like the knights in my storybook, but with motorcycles." That drew soft chuckles from the group, easing the remaining tension. Lisa swallowed hard, gathering courage. "There's something I need to ask. It's a lot. You can say no and I'll completely understand." She glanced at the police officer who was walking back toward them with paperwork. "Rick, he's going to be arrested today. DUI, attempted assault with a deadly weapon, violating the restraining order. There's no way he's getting out soon. But when he does, he'll come looking again. He always does." The bikers went quiet, listening. "We don't have family nearby," Lisa continued. "I've been saving for months to move us out of state, start fresh where he can't find us. But after today, I can't wait anymore. I'm scared he'll get bail. I'm scared for Emily." Sarah's eyes filled with understanding. She'd heard stories like this before from women at rallies, women who rode to escape similar pasts. Lisa looked straight at Jack. "I know this sounds insane, but you're a club, right? The Iron Riders. I've heard about groups like this, biker clubs that help protect women and kids from abusers. Is that something you do? Could you help us get away safely?" The question hung in the hot air like a fragile soap bubble. Jack exchanged glances with his friends. Mike nodded once. Tom gave a small thumbs up. Dave grinned. Sarah spoke first. "We're not one of those big national guardian groups, but we're riders. And riders take care of people on the road, especially kids." Jack rubbed his beard thoughtfully. "Where were you planning to go?" "Up north. My aunt in Montana. She's got a spare room. A job lined up for me at a cafe. It's about 900 miles. I've got a little money saved, enough for gas and a cheap motel or two, but my car's on its last leg. It barely made it here today. And honestly, I'm terrified to do the drive alone now. If Rick gets out and figures out the direction..." Emily looked up at the adults, sensing the seriousness. "Will we have to leave our home?" Lisa knelt and hugged her. "Yes, baby, but it'll be better, safer, a new start." Jack looked at the row of gleaming Harleys, then back at Lisa's tired eyes. "Here's what we can do," he said firmly. "We'll escort you all the way to Montana if that's what it takes. 5 bikes around your car, no one's getting near you. We'll take shifts driving through the night if needed. You won't be alone." Lisa's mouth fell open. "You do that? You don't even know us." "We know enough," Mike said quietly. "We saw what he tried to do today," Sarah added. "And we've all got vacation time or flexible jobs. A long ride sounds perfect, actually." Dave laughed. "Road trip with a purpose, hell yeah." But then the police officer approached holding a clipboard. "Ma'am, we're done here. Mr. Thompson is being transported. Judge will set bail tomorrow morning. With his record and today's charges, it'll be high, but not impossible. I can't tell you what to do, but if you're considering leaving the state..." Lisa nodded, tears welling again. "We are." The officer looked at the bikers with respect. "Are you folks heading out soon?" Jack answered. "As soon as they're packed." Lisa suddenly realized the enormity of what was happening. I need to go back to our apartment. Pack clothes, important papers. It's only 10 minutes away, but..." "We'll go with you," Sarah said immediately. "All of us. No chances." As they started organizing, Lisa giving directions, the bikers checking fuel and tires, Emily ran to each one, giving quick hugs around their legs. When she got to Tom, the quiet one, she noticed his toolkit. "Are you gonna fix things on the trip?" she asked. Tom smiled for the first time. "If anything breaks, kid, I've got you covered." The group moved toward their vehicles, purpose filling the air like a new energy. Lisa's old sedan was parked behind the diner, rusty but drivable. As they prepared to roll out in convoy, Jack pulled Lisa aside for a moment. "One thing," he said gently. "This life on the road, it's freedom. You and Emily deserve that. We'll get you there safe, promise." Lisa nodded gratefully, climbing into her car with Emily buckled in the back. Engines roared to life, the deep thunder of 5 Harleys surrounding the little sedan like guardian angels in leather. But as they pulled out of the diner lot and onto the highway, none of them noticed the beat-up sedan 2 cars behind at the stoplight, watching them leave. Who was following them, and why? The convoy rolled out of town just as the sun began to dip toward the horizon, painting the sky in streaks of orange and purple, while 5 thunderous Harleys formed a perfect protective diamond around Lisa's old blue sedan. Jack led the pack on his black Road King, the torn patch on his vest flapping slightly in the wind like a badge of honor. Mike and Tom rode flank on the left and right, engines synced in a steady growl that vibrated through the asphalt. Dave took rear guard, keeping an eye on the mirrors, while Sarah rode shotgun closest to the driver's side window so she could flash thumbs-up signals to Lisa whenever their eyes met. Inside the sedan, Emily sat in the back seat surrounded by hastily packed duffels and cardboard boxes, her stuffed bear clutched tightly to her chest. She kept looking out the windows in wonder at the formation of bikes around them. "Mommy, it's like we're in a parade," she said, her voice finally free of fear for the first time that day. Lisa gripped the steering wheel with white knuckles, but a small smile broke through. "A parade of guardians, baby. The best kind." They had made a quick stop at the small apartment. The bikers had stood watch outside while Lisa and Sarah packed essentials: birth certificates, social security cards, Emily's favorite books, a few photo albums, clothes for a week. Jack and Mike carried the heavier boxes to the car without being asked. Tom even took 5 minutes to check the sedan's oil, tire pressure and belts, pronouncing it ugly but roadworthy. Now, 2 hours into the journey, the city lights were fading behind them, replaced by endless stretches of 2-lane highway, cutting through rolling hills and pine forests. Classic rock played low on the bikers' comm system, shared earpieces that let them talk without shouting over the wind. "This is nice," Sarah said over the channel. "Been a while since we did a long haul together." "Yeah," Dave replied, "though usually we're not playing bodyguard to the bravest 8-year-old on the planet." Emily waved enthusiastically every time one of them looked back. Jack gave her a salute each time, making her giggle. Lisa's phone buzzed in the cup holder. She glanced down. Unknown number. Her stomach tightened. She let it go to voicemail. 30 seconds later, it buzzed again. Same thing. Third time she finally answered on speaker but said nothing. A slurred, angry voice filled the car. "Rick." Somehow he'd already made his one phone call from jail. "You think you can just run off with my daughter? I know you're heading north. I'll find you. When I get out, and I will, you'll regret this." Emily's eyes went wide with renewed fear. Lisa's voice shook but stayed firm. "You lost any right to us the day you put your hands on me the last time. Stay away, Rick. The police have everything on record now." He laughed cruelly. "Those bikers won't always be around." The line went dead. Lisa's hands trembled on the wheel. She looked in the mirror at Emily, who was trying not to cry. Sarah's voice came through Lisa's open window as they rode side by side. "Everything okay?" Lisa shook her head, tears starting to fall. He called. "He knows we're going north." Jack's deep voice cut in over the comms. "Guys, we've got a situation. Possible tail." Dave spoke from the rear. "Confirmed. Beat-up grey sedan, 2 cars back since we left the last gas station 20 miles ago. Keeps the same distance. Tinted windows. Can't see the driver." The mood in the convoy shifted instantly. Engines revved slightly as they closed ranks tighter around Lisa's car. "Could be nothing," Mike said calmly. "Lot of grey sedans on the road. Or it could be one of Rick's old drinking buddies," Tom added. "He ran with a rough crowd." Sarah glanced at Lisa. "So you recognize the car?" Lisa shook her head. "No, but Rick has a friend named Carl who drives something like that. Owes Rick money. Might do favors." Jack made the call. "We're not taking chances. Next exit with a truck stop, 10 miles. We pull in, get fuel, see if they follow. If they do, we confront. If not, we keep moving." The next 10 miles felt endless. Emily kept looking back through the rear window, her bear hugged tighter. Lisa whispered reassurances, but her own heart was pounding. Finally, the sign for a large 24-hour truck stop appeared. Jack signaled the turn. The convoy slowed and exited smoothly. The grey sedan kept going straight on the highway. Everyone exhaled. "Probably just coincidence," Dave said, though his tone lacked conviction. They pulled into the brightly lit truck stop anyway. Dozens of semis parked, neon lights buzzing, the smell of diesel and fried food in the air. Perfect place to blend in and rest. The group parked in a row near the entrance. Lisa stretched her legs gratefully as Emily hopped out to stand between Sarah's boots. "Potty break, snacks, coffee," Jack announced. 20 minutes, then back on the road. We'll push through the night, get as many miles behind us as possible before morning." Inside the bustling travel center, truckers nodded respectfully at the leather-clad group escorting a young mother and child. One even held the door. Emily spotted a display of toy motorcycles and tugged Sarah's hand. "Look, just like yours." Sarah grinned and bought her a small replica Harley for the bravest co-pilot on the highway. As they stood in line for coffee, Jack's phone buzzed. He stepped aside to answer. His face grew serious as he listened. When he came back, the news wasn't good. "That was a buddy of mine at county lockup," he said quietly to the group. "Rick made bail. Some sleazy bondsman fronted it. He's out already." Lisa went pale. "How?" "The charges. Money talks," Jack said grimly. "And friends with cash." Sarah looked toward the highway. "So that grey sedan might not have been coincidence after all." The group exchanged determined glances. The road ahead had just gotten a lot more dangerous. They fueled up, climbed back on their bikes and pulled out into the darkness, headlights cutting through the night like beacons. But 2 miles down the road in the mirrors, a new set of headlights appeared, staying exactly the same distance behind. This time they weren't letting it go. The convoy thundered through the pitch-black highway, 5 Harleys roaring in perfect formation around Lisa's sedan when Jack made the decisive call over the comms. "Enough playing games. Next rest area, 3 miles. We're pulling over and handling this tail once and for all." The headlights in Dave's mirrors had stayed locked on them for the past 30 minutes. No passing, no falling back, just a steady, menacing presence. Whoever was behind them knew they'd been spotted but wasn't backing off. Lisa's voice came through the open channel. Sarah had rigged a cheap walkie-talkie for her before they left the truck stop. "What if it's him? What if Rick's already out and driving that car?" "Then we end this tonight," Jack replied firmly. "You stay in the vehicle with doors locked. We deal with it." Emily, half asleep in the back seat with her new toy Harley clutched in her hands, stirred at the tension in the adults' voices. "Mommy, are the bad guys still following us?" Lisa reached back and squeezed her daughter's knee. "Not for long, baby. Our friends are going to make sure." The rest area appeared ahead, a dimly lit oasis off the highway with a small parking lot, a few picnic tables, restrooms, and no other vehicles in sight at this late hour. Perfect. Jack signaled the turn. The convoy slowed and pulled in smoothly, parking in a wide semicircle that blocked the entrance lane. Engines cut off one by one, the sudden silence almost deafening under the blanket of stars. The mysterious car, a grey sedan just as Dave had described, slowed on the highway shoulder about 100 yards back, headlights still on, but didn't enter immediately. It just sat there, watching. Mike cracked his knuckles. They're thinking about it. Sarah helped Lisa roll up her windows and lock the doors. You two stay put. No matter what, don't get out unless one of us comes for you personally. Emily pressed her face to the glass, watching the bikers fan out like a SWAT team in leather. Jack and Mike walked toward the highway shoulder. Tom and Dave flanked the entrance. Sarah stayed by the sedan, hand resting casually on her hip, close enough to react. The grey sedan finally crept forward, turning into the rest area slowly, headlights blinding as it approached. It stopped 20 feet away, engine idling. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then the driver's door opened. Out stepped a man in his late 30s, skinny, jittery, wearing a stained hoodie and jeans. Not Rick, but the resemblance in build and the nervous energy was uncanny. He raised both hands immediately. Whoa, whoa, easy, I'm not here to fight. Jack didn't move closer, but his voice carried clearly. Then why have you been tailing us for 50 miles? The man licked his lips, eyes darting between the 5 bikers. Name's Carl. Rick called me from county. Said his ex took off with his kid, begged me to follow, find out where they're headed. Said he'd pay me $500 when he gets out tomorrow. Lisa gasped from inside the car, hearing everything through the walkie. Carl continued quickly. Look, I owe Rick money from a bad bet. Thought this would square us, but seeing you all, I ain't stupid. I'm not getting my ass beat for 500. Mike stepped forward. So what now, Carl? You gonna keep following? Carl shook his head vigorously. No way, I'm turning around right now. Tell Rick I couldn't find him. Hell, I'll even block for you. Tell him you went east instead of north. Dave laughed darkly. And why should we believe you? Carl reached slowly into his pocket and pulled out his phone, holding it up. Because I'm deleting the photos I took of your plates right now. He did exactly that, opened the gallery, swiped, deleted. Then, he held the phone out for Jack to see the empty folder. Jack studied him for a long second. You got family, Carl? Yeah, a sister, 2 nieces. Then, think about them. If some guy ever tried to hurt them and strangers stepped up to protect them, you'd want those strangers to get home safe, right? Carl nodded slowly, shame creeping into his expression. Jack's voice softened just a fraction. Go home. Don't call Rick. Don't look for us. And pay your debts some other way, honest way. Carl backed toward his car. I swear, you won't see me again. If this moment of strangers showing mercy, even to someone who was part of the problem, has you feeling that goodness still wins on the road, do me a favor. Hit that like button and subscribe to Road Motorcycle Diaries. We bring you real stories of courage and kindness every week. Carl climbed back into his sedan, turned around and drove off toward the southbound ramp, opposite direction. The bikers watched until his taillights disappeared. Sarah tapped on Lisa's window. It's over. He's gone. Lisa rolled it down, tears of relief streaming. You didn't hurt him? No need, Jack said. Sometimes fear and a second chance do more than fists. They climbed back on their bikes, engines roaring back to life. The convoy pulled out once more, now truly alone on the vast highway under a sky full of stars. Emily finally fell asleep, smiling, dreaming of nights on iron horses. For the rest of the night, they rode in peace, hundreds of miles disappearing behind them. But morning was coming, and with it, the final push to Montana, and whatever waited at Lisa's aunt's door. If you've been riding along with this story and believe that ordinary people in leather can be extraordinary heroes, smash that like button, drop a comment telling me, would you have stepped in like these bikers did? And subscribe to Road Motorcycle Diaries with notifications on so you never miss the conclusion. Let's keep the good vibes rolling. The first rays of dawn broke over the distant Rocky Mountains, like liquid gold spilling across the horizon, turning the endless highway into a ribbon of light as the convoy pushed deeper into Montana. They had ridden through the entire night without stopping except for quick fuel breaks, engines humming steadily, coffee thermos passed around, the iron riders taking turns napping in shifts, while one always stayed alert. Lisa had driven for hours until exhaustion hit. Then Sarah took the wheel of the sedan, while Lisa curled up in the passenger seat. Emily slept soundly in the back, her new toy Harley tucked under her chin, dreaming peaceful dreams for the first time in months. Now, with only 100 miles left to her aunt's small ranch town, the group finally pulled into a scenic overlook to stretch, breathe fresh mountain air, and watch the sunrise together. The view was breathtaking, snow-capped peaks glowing pink and orange, pine forests stretching for miles, a crystal-clear river winding through the valley below. The only sounds were birds waking up and the gentle tick of cooling engines. Jack leaned against his bike, arms crossed, taking it all in. "Moments like this," he said quietly to the group. "This is why we ride." Mike nodded, sipping coffee from a paper cup. "And today, it feels even better." Lisa stepped out of the car, wrapping a blanket around her shoulders against the crisp morning chill. She looked at the 5 bikers who had become more than protectors. They'd become friends. "I keep thinking I'm going to wake up and this will all have been a dream. You turned the worst day of our lives into this." Sarah smiled, braiding Emily's sleepy hair as the girl rubbed her eyes and climbed out to stand on the overlook railing. "Real life can be better than dreams sometimes when the right people show up." Emily pointed excitedly at a deer grazing far below. "Look, it's like a movie." Dave pulled out his phone and started snapping photos of the group against the sunrise, Lisa and Emily in the middle, the bikers on either side with their Harleys lined up behind. "Gonna frame this one," he said. "Proof that angels wear leather." Tom, ever practical, checked the sedan's tires again and topped off the oil from a small can in his saddlebag. "We'll get you the rest of the way with no issues." As they stood there soaking in the beauty, Lisa's phone rang, her aunt's name on the screen. She answered on speaker so everyone could hear. "Lisa? Honey? Are you close? I've got breakfast cooking. Pancakes, bacon, fresh eggs from the hens. Room's all ready for you and Emily." Lisa's voice cracked with emotion. "Aunt Karen, we're about 2 hours out. And I'm not coming alone. There are some people I want you to meet, the most incredible people." Karen laughed warmly. "Bring the whole cavalry, sweetheart. There's plenty of room and food." After hanging up, the group shared a quiet moment. No one wanted to admit it, but a small sadness was creeping in. This journey was almost over. The danger was behind them. The road had done its healing work, and soon they'd have to say goodbye. Jack broke the silence. "We'll see you all the way to the door. Make sure you're settled. Then we'll head back home." Emily ran to him and hugged his leg. "But you'll visit, right? You promised to teach me how to ride when I'm bigger." Jack ruffled her hair. "Deal, kiddo. Montana's not that far for a weekend ride." They climbed back on their bikes, the engines roaring to life one last time in formation. The final stretch felt different, lighter, full of hope. Songs played over the comms, uplifting classics about freedom, new beginnings, the open road. Lisa looked in her rearview mirror at the 5 guardians behind her and felt something she hadn't in years. Safe, truly, completely safe. As they crested the last big hill and the small town came into view, smoke curling from chimneys, cattle grazing in green pastures, the ranch house with its big, welcoming porch, Emily bounced in her seat. "We're here, we made it." But just as they turned onto the long gravel driveway leading to Aunt Karen's ranch, a familiar rumble echoed from the opposite direction. Another group of motorcycles, 10 strong, wearing different patches, was riding toward them on the same road. Friend or foe? The 2 convoys slowed, facing each other in the middle of the quiet country road. The 2 motorcycle convoys came to a slow, deliberate stop on the quiet Montana country road, engines idling low like distant thunder, facing each other across 50 feet of sun-warmed gravel. Jack raised a gloved hand in a universal greeting, keeping his bike steady. The Iron Riders stayed in tight formation around Lisa's sedan, protective instincts still on high alert after everything they'd been through. The oncoming group, 10 bikes strong, a mix of cruisers and touring models, wore vests with a different patch, a silver shield emblazoned with Guardian Wings MC Montana Chapter. Their riders were a diverse crew, men and women, young and old, all with the weathered look of people who spent their lives on 2 wheels helping others. The lead rider, a tall woman in her 50s with silver-streaked hair in a long braid and a vest covered in service patches, cut her engine and swung off her bike. She walked forward confidently, hands open and visible. Jack killed his engine too and met her halfway, the rest of both groups watching intently. "Morning," the woman said, voice warm but strong. "Name's Maggie, president of Guardian Wings up here in Montana. You folks the Iron Riders out of the South?" Jack nodded, shaking her offered hand firmly. "That's us." "Jack, how'd you know?" Maggie smiled. "Word travels fast on the road, especially when it's about a little girl and her mom getting escorted cross-state by 5 badass riders who took down an abuser in a diner parking lot. Story hit our chapter chat group last night, complete with photos of your vests and that torn patch. We've been waiting to intercept." Mike tensed slightly behind Jack. "Intercept for what?" Maggie's expression softened. "To welcome you, and to finish the handoff." She turned and waved her group forward. They all dismounted and approached, no aggression, just open faces and genuine smiles. One of them, a burly man with a gray beard even longer than Jack's, spoke up. "We're one of the groups that does exactly what you started. Protect women and kids fleeing domestic violence. Long-distance escorts, safe houses, whatever it takes. When we heard you were bringing Lisa and Emily Thompson all the way to Karen Whitlock's ranch, Karen's one of our oldest supporters, we figured you could use a proper Montana welcome." Lisa, who had rolled down her window to listen, gasped. You know my aunt?" Maggie laughed. "Know her. Karen's been feeding our chapter pancakes every Sunday for 20 years when we ride through. She called us at dawn, said her niece was arriving with 5 guardian angels on Harleys. Asked us to come say thank you in person." Emily poked her head out the window. "More angels." That broke the ice completely. Both groups erupted in warm laughter. Sarah swung off her bike and walked over to hug Maggie. "You have no idea how good it is to see friendly patches after the night we had." Maggie nodded knowingly. "We heard about the tail, the bail, all of it. Rick Thompson's got no friends up here. Local PD's already flagged his name. If he shows his face in Montana, he'll be back in cuffs before he crosses the state line." Jack looked at his crew, then at the Guardian Wings. "You're offering to take over protection from here?" "More than that," Maggie said. "We'll ride in with you to Karen's. Then if you're willing, we've got a big spread laid out at our clubhouse, brunch, live music, the works. A proper celebration for getting these two safe. You've earned it." Dave grinned wide. "Brunch with fellow riders? I'm in." Tom gave a rare thumbs up. Mike just nodded, respect clear in his eyes. Lisa stepped out of the car, tears shining again, but happy ones this time. She walked straight to Maggie and hugged her. "Thank you for everything you all do." Maggie hugged back fiercely. "Honey, this is what the road is for. We take care of our own even when we've just met." Emily ran between the bikes, staring in awe at the combined 20-plus motorcycles now lining the road. A couple of Guardian Wings riders knelt down to her level, showing her their patches and letting her touch the chrome. Jack turned to his Iron Riders. "What do you say, crew? One last ride together with new friends?" The answer was unanimous revs of engines in approval. The two clubs merged into one massive convoy, 15 bikes strong now, flanking Lisa's sedan like the grandest honor guard imaginable. They rolled the final miles toward the ranch in perfect sync, engines singing in harmony, kicking up dust that glittered in the morning sun. As they turned into Karen's long driveway, the ranch came fully into view. White fences, horses grazing, a big American flag waving, and on the wide porch, Aunt Karen standing with arms open wide, a huge welcome home banner strung across the rails, and tables already groaning under platters of food. The roar of arrival brought tears to everyone's eyes. But the real magic was only just beginning. The massive combined convoy, 15 motorcycles strong, rolled up the long gravel driveway to Aunt Karen's ranch in a triumphant roar that shook the morning air and sent horses galloping playfully along the fence line. Dust swirled behind them like a victory banner as engines cut off one by one in front of the big wraparound porch. The smell of fresh pancakes, sizzling bacon, and strong coffee wafted through the air, mixing with pine and mountain wildflowers. Aunt Karen, a sturdy woman in her 60s with sun-weathered skin, silver hair in a practical ponytail, and a smile that could melt glaciers, stood at the top of the steps with arms spread wide. Beside her were two ranch hands holding a hand-painted "Welcome Home Lisa and Emily" banner, and a golden retriever barking excitedly at all the new friends. Lisa barely had the car in park before she was out the door, running up the steps into Karen's embrace. They held each other for a long moment, both crying happy tears, rocking side to side like they used to when Lisa was a little girl visiting in summers long past. Emily bolted out next, throwing herself at Karen's legs. "Auntie Karen, we made it! The motorcycle angels brought us." Karen knelt down, scooping Emily into a big hug and kissing her cheeks. "I see that, sweet pea. And what fine angels they are." The bikers, both Iron Riders and Guardian Wings, dismounted and gathered at the foot of the steps, helmets tucked under arms, looking almost shy now that the journey was complete. They weren't used to this part. The arrival, the gratitude, the celebration. Karen straightened up and addressed them all with a voice full of warmth and authority. "Every single one of you, get your boots up here on this porch right now. Breakfast is hot, plates are piled high, and there's enough for an army." Maggie from Guardian Wings laughed. "Karen, you don't have to feed the whole chapter. Watch me," Karen shot back with a wink. "I've been cooking since 4 a.m. When Lisa called saying she was close. Nobody leaves hungry." Tables had been set up under the shady porch and out on the lawn. Long wooden planks covered in red checkered cloths, laden with stacks of fluffy pancakes, scrambled eggs, crispy bacon, sausage links, fresh fruit, homemade biscuits with gravy, pitchers of orange juice and carafes of coffee strong enough to wake the dead. The ranch hands fired up a grill for anyone wanting eggs cooked to order. Someone started country music low on an outdoor speaker, classic Johnny Cash and Willie Nelson tunes that felt perfect for the moment. Emily became the instant center of attention. Guardian Wings riders showed her their bikes up close, letting her sit on a few, engines off of course, and rev the throttles gently. One woman with a sleeve of eagle tattoos gave Emily a small honorary patch that read, "Future Rider." Jack stood off to the side at first, watching the scene with quiet satisfaction. Sarah joined him, handing him a plate already loaded with food. "You did good, boss," she said softly. "We all did," Jack replied. "That little girl ran to us because she believed strangers could be kind, and we proved her right." Lisa found them a few minutes later, plate in hand, eyes still red from happy crying. "I need to say this while I can still talk," she began, voice trembling. "You didn't just drive us here. You gave us back our lives. You showed Emily that real heroes exist, and that they don't always wear capes. Sometimes they wear leather and ride Harleys." She turned to the whole group now gathered around. "You restored my faith that the world can still be good, that when someone cries for help and people answer." A quiet round of applause rippled through the bikers, not for themselves, but for the moment. Maggie raised her coffee mug. "To the Iron Riders, who started this journey, and to every rider who ever pulled over to help someone in need. The road connects us all." Everyone echoed. "To the road." Emily tugged on Jack's hand until he bent down. She whispered something in his ear, then reached into her pocket and pulled out the small toy Harley Sarah had bought her at the truck stop. "I want you to have this," she said seriously, "so you remember me when you ride." Jack's throat tightened. He took the toy gently, like it was made of gold. "I'll keep it on my dash forever, kiddo, every mile." The morning stretched into early afternoon. Laughter, stories swapped between the two clubs, plans already forming for joint charity rides in the future. Karen insisted on packing to-go bags for the Iron Riders' journey home. Sandwiches, cookies, thermoses of coffee. But as the sun climbed higher, Jack gathered his crew. "Time to let these folks settle in. We've got a long ride back." Goodbyes were hard, hugs all around, promises to stay in touch. Numbers exchanged, social media follows, invitations to visit anytime. Emily ran down the steps one last time as the Iron Riders straddled their bikes. She stood in the middle, waving both arms. "You're the best angels ever," she shouted. Engines roared to life in response, a deep, harmonious thunder that rolled across the ranch like applause. The 5 Harleys pulled out first, turning back toward the highway, with the Guardian Wings waving them off from the driveway. Lisa, Karen, and Emily stood on the porch watching until the bikes became tiny specks against the vast Montana sky. Emily looked up at her mom. "Will we see them again?" Lisa smiled, peace finally settling in her heart. "I think the road will bring them back to us someday." But the story wasn't quite finished. One surprise still waited for the Iron Riders on their way home. The 5 iron riders thundered south on the long highway back home, the vast Montana sky stretching endless above them, the Rocky Mountains slowly shrinking in their mirrors as mile after mile of open road unrolled beneath their tires. The mood was bittersweet. The mission was accomplished. Lisa and Emily were safe, settled, surrounded by love and protection. The Guardian Wings had taken the baton seamlessly, but saying goodbye to that little girl with the fearless heart had left an ache none of them wanted to admit out loud. They rode in loose formation now, no longer needing military precision. Wind whipped through their beards and hair, classic rock playing through the comms. Songs about freedom, brotherhood, and going home. The toy Harley Emily had given Jack sat proudly on his dash, secured with a zip tie, catching the sunlight. Around midday, they pulled into a familiar truck stop, the same one where they'd confronted Carl the night before. This time it was bright and bustling with Sunday travelers. They parked in the shade, stretched their legs, and grabbed cold drinks from the cooler inside. As they stood by their bikes sipping sodas, Jack's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown Montana number. He opened it and immediately smiled wide. "Guys," he called the others over, "you're gonna want to see this." It was a group photo Karen had sent. Lisa, Emily, and Aunt Karen on the porch, flanked by the entire Guardian Wings chapter. Everyone was holding up handwritten signs. Emily's read, "Thank you, Iron Riders," in big, colorful letters. Lisa's said, "You saved us." Maggie and the others held one big banner, "Brothers and sisters forever. Come back soon." Underneath, a message from Lisa. "We're already planning a big barbecue for your next visit." Emily hasn't stopped talking about her heroes. "Safe travels home, we love you all." Sarah's eyes misted over as she passed the phone around. Even Tom, the quiet one, let out a soft, "Damn." Dave grinned. "Told you we'd be back. Montana's got good riding." They were about to mount up when a big semi-truck pulled in nearby. The driver, a grizzled older man with a cowboy hat, climbed down and walked straight toward them, eyeing their vests. "You the Iron Riders who escorted that mom and little girl up north?" he asked without preamble. Jack nodded cautiously. "Word travels fast." The trucker broke into a huge grin and stuck out his hand. "Name's Hank. I haul this route twice a week. Stopped at that diner yesterday, the one with the smashed newspaper boxes. Whole place was buzzing about what you did. Cook showed me the security footage. Damn fine thing you folks pulled off." He reached into his cab and pulled out a large insulated bag. "My wife packed extra lunches today when she heard I might cross paths with you. Fried chicken, coleslaw, her famous peach cobbler. Said heroes shouldn't ride on empty stomachs." The group accepted the bag gratefully, shaking Hank's hand and chatting for a few minutes about roads and weather. As he walked away, he called over his shoulder, "Y'all restored this old cynic's faith. Keep doing what you're doing." They ate lunch at a picnic table under a tree, passing around pieces of warm chicken and laughing about the journey. The standoff with Rick, the night ride, Emily's hugs. The food tasted like home, but the real surprise came when they stopped for fuel 2 hours later at a small gas station in a quiet valley town. As they filled tanks, a young woman in her 20s, wearing jeans and a hoodie, pushing a stroller with a toddler, approached hesitantly from the store entrance. "Excuse me, are you the bikers who helped a little girl named Emily?" Sarah turned, smiling softly. "We are." The woman's eyes filled with tears. I was at that diner the day it happened. I was one of the customers inside. I saw everything through the window. I wanted to help, but I was so scared. I had my own baby with me." She took a deep breath. "What you did gave me courage. My husband, he's like that guy Rick. I've been planning to leave for months. Seeing you stand up, it made me realize I could too. I called a hotline last night. I'm meeting a counselor tomorrow, heading to a shelter with my son." The group went quiet, absorbing her words. Jack spoke gently. "You're the brave one now. You're doing the hardest part, taking that step." The woman nodded, wiping her eyes. "I just wanted to say thank you. You didn't just save Emily and her mom. You saved us too, people you'll never even meet." She reached into the stroller and pulled out a small handmade dream catcher, feathers and beads on a leather hoop. "My grandmother made this, for protection on the road. Please take it." Mike accepted it solemnly and hung it immediately from his handlebars, where it danced in the breeze. As she walked away, pushing her stroller toward a waiting friend's car, Dave spoke what they were all feeling. "We thought we were just helping one kid, but it ripples out." Jack looked at the Dreamcatcher, the toy Harley on his dash, the torn patch on his vest now a badge of honor. "Yeah," he said, "it always does." They rode the final stretch home in contemplative silence over the comms, the sun beginning to set in a blaze of red and gold behind them. But the most beautiful moment was still waiting, one that would bring the entire journey full circle. The Iron Riders pulled into the familiar roadside diner just as the sun dipped low on the horizon, casting the same shimmering heat haze over the parking lot where this extraordinary journey had begun just 4 days earlier. The gravel crunched under their tires exactly as it had that fateful afternoon. The newspaper boxes Rick had smashed through were already replaced, the ditch filled in, the diner's big windows gleaming clean again. But everything felt different now, charged with meaning, like returning to the starting line after running a marathon you never expected to finish. Jack cut his engine first, the others following suit. For a long moment, the 5 of them just sat on their bikes, helmets off, staring at the spot where Emily had come running out screaming, "He's coming!" Sarah broke the silence. "Can you believe it? We're back where it all started." Mike nodded slowly. "And everything's changed." They had planned this stop on purpose. After the long ride home, after the texts and photos from Lisa, after the Dreamcatcher swaying on Mike's handlebars and the toy Harley still zip-tied to Jack's dash, they needed to close the circle. Inside the diner, the same cook was behind the counter. The same older trucker who had recorded everything sat in his usual booth. A few regulars looked up as the leather-clad group walked in, bells jingling on the door. The cook's eyes widened in recognition. "Well, I'll be damned. The heroes are back." Word had spread far beyond the security footage. The story had gone viral on local news, biker forums, even a few national Faith in Humanity Restored pages. Biker gang saves little girl and escorts her 900 miles to safety. Of course, the headlines got the gang part wrong, but the heart of it was right. Jack waved off the attention modestly. "Just 5 cups of coffee and whatever pie you've got today." They settled into the same booth Emily and Lisa had occupied that day. The cook brought over a whole apple pie on the house, plus ice cream. "For what you did," he said gruffly, eyes shining. As they ate, the trucker from that day approached their table, phone in hand. "Got something to show you." He played a video. Emily and Lisa, standing on Aunt Karen's porch 2 days ago, holding a big handwritten sign that read, "Thank you, Iron Riders. You gave us our lives back." Emily blew kisses at the camera. Lisa spoke directly to it, voice steady and strong. "Jack, Sarah, Mike, Tom, Dave, we think about you every day. Emily sleeps with no nightmares now. She says her guardian angels are always riding with her. We'll never forget what you did. Come visit soon. The door's always open." The video ended with the entire Guardian Wings chapter revving their engines in the background like a roaring applause. Dave had to clear his throat twice. Tom stared into his coffee. Sarah wiped her eyes unashamedly. Jack just smiled quietly, touching the toy Harley in his vest pocket where he'd moved it for safekeeping. The cook leaned on the counter, watching them. "You know, that little girl running to you guys, scared half to death, but choosing to trust strangers in leather, and you proving her right, that's the kind of thing that changes the world a little bit." Jack looked around the diner, at the spot where Emily had burst out the door, at the window Lisa had pressed her hands against in terror, at the parking lot where they'd stood unbreakable. He thought about Carl turning his car around and choosing better, about the young mother at the gas station finding courage to leave her own abuser, about the Guardian Wings welcoming them like family, about ripples spreading outward from one terrified child's cry for help. "Sometimes," Jack said softly, "all it takes is one moment, one choice to step in instead of walking away, to not judge a book by its cover, whether it's a scared kid judging bikers or the world judging us." Sarah raised her coffee mug. "To Emily, the bravest 8-year-old on the planet." "To Emily," they all echoed. "And to the road," Mike added. "That always brings us back to where we need to be." They finished their pie, left a generous tip despite the meal being free, and walked back out into the cooling evening air. The Harleys waited in a perfect row, gleaming under the diner lights. The Dreamcatcher danced gently in the breeze. The toy Harley caught the last rays of sunset. One by one they swung onto their bikes, Engines roared to life in that deep, familiar thunder that felt like coming home. As they pulled out of the parking lot for the final short leg to their own homes, Jack glanced in his mirror one last time at the diner shrinking behind them. He pictured Emily's terrified face turning to hope the moment she reached them. He pictured her now, safe, laughing, free on a Montana ranch, and he knew deep in his bones that if another child ever ran toward them screaming for help, they would be there, because that's what the road is really for. That's what real heroes look like. And that's the kind of story that restores your faith in humanity. One act of courage, one leap of trust, one thunder of engines answering a desperate cry. If this story touched your heart the way it did ours, if it reminded you that ordinary people can do extraordinary things when they choose kindness over fear, then please hit that like button, share this series with someone who needs it, and subscribe to Road Motorcycle Diaries with notifications on. We're out here collecting true stories of courage, compassion, and the unbreakable spirit of the open road. You never know when the next one might remind you why humanity is worth believing in. And tell us in the comments, would you have stepped in that day? Would you have opened your heart to a terrified child running toward you? Let's keep proving that good people are everywhere. Thank you for riding along with us. See you on the next journey.